celebrating the power of possibility.
Hi, I'm Holli McCray, and I believe that anything is possible.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. These are great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. And this is Holli McCray.
Hi, Halloran.
When I met you, first of all, the Energizer Bunny has nothing on you. In fact, the Energizer Bunny probably owes you royalties because
There are days.
When I met you, what I loved was you were bubbling with possibility. Like, you just believe things can be done.
Things can be done.
But you are also a person of action. That's what I love about you. You'll go, well, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if we did this? And then before you know it, you're actually doing it. How did you get that way?
Well, execution is the only thing that sets anybody apart, right? I mean, everybody can read a bestseller, and if it's a bestseller, everybody already has. But if you don't do anything with the information that you just received, nothing changes, right? So execution is literally the only thing that sets us apart.
I love what she just said. Execution is the only thing that sets us apart. That's what makes possibility reality.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
That's what makes the
Yes.
leap from possibility to reality. But you grew up in New York.
I did. I'm a Yankee.
What part of New York? Tell me about growing up.
I lived outside of the city, and I lived in a town called Port Jervis. It's in Orange County, New York. We call it the real Orange County, the real OC. We grew up just a few miles down the road from Orange County Choppers, if you remember those guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had a great childhood. It was a great place to grow up. It was a sleepy little town, not very many people. Walked to school, walked back from school. I mean, it was a
Tell me about your parents.
Charming life. My parents were married forever until my mom passed.
How old were you when she passed?
Oh gosh, it was 2013, so almost 10 years ago now. So very much an adult here in Knoxville. But they were married, 40, 41 years. And I had a great childhood. I mean, nothing to complain about. I had parents that loved us and siblings to pick on.
How many siblings do you have?
An older brother and a younger brother. So I was the only girl and the middle child. So it was like, oh, look out world.
What were you like?
I was quiet.
You?
Yes.
You?
Yes, my mother used to always say.
Whoa. You were quiet?
I was the wallflower, yeah. Yeah, I was the kid in class that wouldn't raise her hand for roll call. I was saving up all of my words for later in life, I guess.
So you're the middle child, were you an athlete?
Yeah, I played basketball. And all the time people want me to be Nikki McCray, and I'm just not. I'm not her. She's definitely better at the game than I ever was. But I did play basketball in high school.
Of your parents, who are you most like?
Oh my gosh, that is a loaded question. So I think that I'm probably a decent hybrid, really, because my dad was always in sales. My father was always the person that taught us all about. He had these posters that said PMA, positive mental attitude. Here are all the benefits of a positive mental attitude. My dad worked for Patrick Ryan and W. Clement Stone.
Really?
Yes. I have pictures of those guys with our family, and I just grew up hearing that. Like, no was not an option. You can persevere through anything. If you can dream it, you can do it. And that's what I grew up with from my dad.
So you grow up, you play basketball in high school. What was after that?
I went to MTSU. I studied aerospace. I have an aerospace degree.
Why from up there down here?
Well, okay, we missed a part of the story. So in high school, we moved to Tennessee. And we moved to Jefferson County. And Jefferson County, when I was in high school, was a lot of dirt roads, except for that one main road. So we lived on one of those dirt roads on the lake in Dandridge. And my mom just got tired of being in New York. She just was like, it's too cold, The taxes are too high, it's too expensive, and I'm moving. So let's go. She packed us all up and off to Tennessee we went. So my mom is from Tennessee, and that's where we ended up. And I felt like I was in the third portal of hell in high school in Tennessee.
The third portal of hell.
I had no idea where I was. I'm like, this is crazy. We're on a dirt road. We're on a dirt road. We live on a dirt road. I'm like, what's happening to my
You
life?
were in New York. And now
I'm
you're
in trouble now. God, I'm so sorry. What did I do?
So you wanted to be so far away from that reality, you decided, I'll go aerospace and I'll live on the moon rather than live here.
That's a great story, and maybe I should add that to it, but no, that wasn't it really. But as a teenager, moving to Jefferson County, Tennessee from New York, the only thing anybody wanted me to do was talk. That's what everybody said to me when I got here. Talk. Say something.
They wanted to hear New York.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to hear my nanny impression. So.
Which is?
Oh, no. No, we don't need to put that on TV. But I've got a pretty mean Fran Drescher that I can pull out at a party, so there you go. But honestly, looking back on it, it was the best thing that could have happened. So from there, I graduated and didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea.
When we don't know what we want to do, we go general studies.
We go aerospace, yeah. Everybody's like, be a teacher, be a nurse. Be something typical that women go into. That's what people told me to do. I heard that a lot as a teenager. And that was just never going to come to pass. So I thought, well, I wanted to go to Daytona Beach and study aerospace. And my dad was like, no. And then he followed it with not no, but wasn't doing it. So we found out that MTSU had the third best program in the nation at that time for aerospace. Maybe they still do, I don't know. But that's where I ended up. So it was a great experience, made great friends, loved it.
But why aerospace?
It was so interesting. I'm really a nerd at heart. I mean, you have to know that about me. I am a complete nerd at heart. I love to learn about things that are fascinating, and I thought, how does that thing get off the ground? Let's go. Women don't generally do it. That's what I'm looking for in life. And listen, the guys were super cute the first 3 years. I mean, they were really cute. I mean, we would go flying, and we had all kinds of friends. And I mean, the whole class looked like the football team. And then the fourth and fifth year, that was not the case. No, the cute ones all fell away, and I was in the class with my precious, Nobody had a personality in Calculus 4, so that was not creative enough for me.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel.
You're very curious and you love learning. So you got that fix from engineering.
I did, and math, really. Engineering, and I can do it. I don't want to do it. But math is fascinating, but flying a plane is even more fascinating. I had a lot of fun with that. And here's what I learned about that. I did not want air traffic control to be my eyeballs. So I put that habit down real quick after a very terrible storm that pushed my little airplane straight to the ground. I'm like, nope, you let me fly into that. I'm out. This is not the career for me. So I'm like, forget
So what do you do after that then?
So after that, I worked at a modeling agency in Nashville when I was in college and opened an agency in Knoxville for a little while and sold that and decided that I wanted to do something where I had complete control of my destiny. And it didn't rely on stage parents. No offense, stage parents, sorry. But, some of them are brutal. And so I just decided that I needed a break from that reality, and I was going to I did have a business minor. I should put that in the story. So I do have a business minor, and I thought, you know what? I can sell. I love to work. And what should I sell where I can support myself? Well, what's the most expensive thing people buy in life? A house. So I went into real estate.
I started the conversation by saying when I met you, you were bubbling with possibility. But you're at the place where possibility is matter of fact. That's huge. To be able to think of doing or being something, to have the courage to act, but also to make it matter of fact, to go, if I did this and I did this, 1 + 1 is 2, right? The math of whatever that is. And just to go, okay, let's go do it. Where does that come from? That to me is a secret sauce.
That is
It's faith.
experience. It is faith. The understanding that all you have to do is put one foot in front of the other and do it. That's first step is the faith.
Where did you get that?
My mother. That's the part of me that's my mother. Everything was possible with my mother. You have to understand that my mother was our grounding force. She prayed over us when she was pregnant. She prayed over us every day as kids. She prayed over us every day as adults. My mother was the person in the community that if anybody had a problem with anything, they came to my mother. It used to drive my father mad because people would be at our house at midnight, 11 o'clock, knocking on the door because they needed help. But my mother was that person. And so she taught us that anything is possible. And that if you've heard it, the faith of a mustard seed, you can do whatever you want. So it was never really in question. So I had a business degree. I had all the positive mental attitude I could possibly be given as a child. And I had the faith of my mother and the prayers of my mother. And so,
So you get into real estate.
Yeah.
And dadgummit, you get into real estate.
Yeah, I don't do much 5%. I'm not a 50% girl. I'm a 500% girl. And
So what happened when you jump into real estate?
kind of a disease, right? So I got into real estate in 2002, and I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea, about the business. But, it kind of muddled along the first year, and then the second year I got it. I figured it out. At that point, I was like, all right, this is good. I can do this. I can live on this. I can make a living doing this. I don't have to manage people. I don't have to answer to anybody. I was like, I hit my zone. But I figured out that takes about 75 hours a week out of your life. And I'm like, wow, this is not what I don't need to be doing this with a child, right? So fast forward about 10 years or so, and, I met John, and he was in banking, and Cade was, 1 and change, and he turned 2. We decided to get married, and he's like, I'm going to quit my job. And I'm like, you were going to do what? I'm in real estate. He's got a cushy little salary job with a bonus and insurance and all the things. You think in life, you get that, you've made it, that's it, right? And he's like, no, I quit my job today. It wasn't I'm going to. There was no discussion about it. He picked me up for lunch in jeans in the middle of the week, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And he said, I quit my job. It was 3 days before Christmas in 2008. We were opening Keller Williams.
In 2008.
There it is, right there.
Wow.
There it is. And, we were opening Keller Williams in Knoxville at the time, and I just sat and cried. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I can't. It's like the chopping block in there. I'm not gonna do it. So he quits his job, and I wipe away the tears. So now what are you gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna go into real estate. I'm like, oh gosh, what have I done, God? Oh, forgive me. I'm like, why? Why are you gonna do that? Well, he said, if the bank is this bad, and they want to foreclose on everybody, regardless of whether or not they can pay for a property because they just want real estate off their books, then I'm going to save people from that. And he's like, I'm going to do short sales. And I'm like, what in the world? How do you do a short sale? I've heard of it, but it's kind of like this unicorn. Long story short, he was right. I was wrong. He went into short sales. He became the #1 short sale agent. As far as you could drive in a day. I mean, he may have been the best in the country, I don't know. But he had such great knowledge and background with banking that he saved, I don't know, hundreds of families from foreclosure. 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, probably 13. I don't even know what year that ended. And we lived on that for a while. And then at that point, you know, in the middle of all of this, we decided to form a real estate team because, enter Halloran and Phil and all of you guys to partner with us. And the business just started to come in. So we started to train up agents to help take some of that business. And that is how our real estate team and then our real estate brokerage really started. I mean, just out of pure need to serve the community. Thanks in part to you. So thank you.
Now you have a television show.
Yeah, that happened. That happened.
Tell me about Selling Knoxville.
Yeah, Selling Knoxville has been a big surprise. We have for years had people tell us, you need a show, you need a show, you need a show, you need a flipping show, you need a show about your office, you need a show. Nobody would believe. I'm like, no, nobody would believe it. And do we really want the entire world to see this madness back here behind this door? I mean, do we really want that? I mean, it's really funny stuff, truly. But I don't think people realize what it takes to get them from this house to that house. They shouldn't have to know. That's what they pay us for. It's a lot. But so we've had people for years tell us we need a show. I got an email a few months ago that said, this is so-and-so from American Dream TV. We're producing a show called Selling Knoxville. We'd like to talk to you about it. I'm like, we just want to make sure this is truly your email. I'm like, I read it and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've heard this all before. Spam, scam, whatever. And so I went back to that email later that day and I was like, all right, I replied. I'm like, I'll bite. It's really me. I've heard this before. What are you talking about? They're like, well, interestingly enough, we'd like to sit down with you at the Tennessean on this day at this time. And, if you're interested, we'd love to give you a time slot. I was like, okay, I'll bite. I went. We talked. It happened. So here we are. I'm producing a segment. I'm not producing the whole show, but I'm producing a segment of the show. And, I've produced a lot of things. I've produced fashion shows. I've produced photo shoots. I've produced a lot of things, but I've never produced a show. Halloran, you are obviously well-versed in producing a show. We muddled through the first one. It just aired on Easter Sunday. And I'm not going to say it's probably my best work that I'll ever end up with, but all right, it was a good first step, So yeah, we're producing a segment of a national TV show now, so it's a little bit crazy, Never saw that coming, really.
You're inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, very inspiring. And I think God has you here to do that.
I hope so.
Like I said at the beginning, you're brimming with possibility. And when you see somebody that believes something is possible, but that executes and that acts, it generates courage. So if somebody's watching today and they're looking for some possibility, I'm asking people this year to tell me, what are the rules of possibility, right?
Are there?
Yeah.
Are there rules?
What have you learned about how you make something possible?
I don't make anything possible. It just is possible. I don't have that kind of power, Halloran. It just is possible. You just have to do it. I mean, we all know that if you want to live...
You literally Nike'd me just then.
You know what? I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I mean, the reality is...
You literally just say, you just do it.
There's nothing that's just not that hard.
There is a space between the idea or concept of something and actually doing.
Yes, the space between the concept and doing lives two possibilities, faith or fear. And you pick one road or the other. And if you live in the fear, you're always just going to talk about it. And if you live in the faith portion, you're just going to do it. I mean, that's it. It's that simple. There's really no magic pill. Decide. It's a decision. That's it. It's a decision. It's like love is not an emotion, it's a decision. Well, doing things is, a decision. That's it. There is no secret sauce. I mean, the day that I first met you, what did you do? Do you remember this?
I put a recorder
you
in
sure
front of
did.
you
It was your
because I
phone.
wanted to learn. I wanted to make sure that I knew that I was paying attention to what you wanted. That's what that was for, really.
Oh, well, that's good to know all these years later, Halloran. Well, you came marching in your very stoic self and your very lovely, long, intimidating coat, and you sat down and you said, "I'm Halloran. It's so nice to meet you. Tell me about you." And I thought, I'm gonna melt out of this chair right here. I don't even know what I babbled. You probably still have the recording. But I remember that day thinking to myself, you know, just put it out there. This man, he really needs to know what he's stepping into. But you didn't step out, so thank you for that. You did not step out of my crazy world, so you actually added quite a bit to it. And I appreciate you for that. We all appreciate you for that. But I know that that was really a huge, huge stepping stone in the process of getting here. And, you know, I appreciate the fact that you gave us the opportunity and none of us ever looked back. And it just keeps going and growing and getting bigger and getting better. And it's been a wild ride.
It's been a beautiful ride.
It's been a lot of fun.
Folks, just do it.
Do it.
We'll see you next time on Anything is Possible.
Thanks, Halloran.